You guys, please don't be mad at me. Please don't. Oh wait, let me do this. So, I don't know if I've mentioned this on Snapchat or any of my other social media, but I left my laptop charger in Baton Rouge when I went to go see my friends, and I feel like I'm not even looking into the camera. Oh, there we go. I left my charger in Baton Rouge, so I cannot edit, which means I cannot do main channel videos on my laptop. So that breaks my heart because I just don't know. I just feel so it's just like not even me when I don't have my laptop. But I just am not the same person. Today is Friday, however, which means I need to have a main channel video up. So, back to phone vlogs. That's the only thing at this point that I can kind of do because I don't know when I'll be able to get to Baton Rouge to get my charger. I just got back from London yesterday, actually. Ooh, exciting times! I'm so annoyed with myself that I did that, but I absolutely refuse to let my YouTube channel suffer, so I'm just quickly going to do this video, and it'll have to be via phone, so I hope you all don't mind. Let me move this. Oh, just everything's going wrong. No. Okay, so it can't be edited. Oh, I can't even speak. I can't edit out the weird things that I say. I'm trying to quickly go through this because I do have a trip in a couple hours. It's just hot mess. So let me just dive right into it. Crashpads. I thought that I would talk to you all a little bit about Crashpads because that's where I am right now, and I have been getting questions a lot on videos. I think one person is leaving the same questions on multiple videos, but that just makes me see them more, so I'll just quickly answer it. I have stayed in a crash pad, or had a crash pad, ever since I got this job, ever since I became a flight attendant. When I was based in Minneapolis, my first month, my very first month, I actually rented a room that I found off Craigslist, which I was a little apprehensive about because number one, it was Craigslist, and number two, I had never done this before. I moved up north from down south in a city where I knew no one, never heard of it, had no family, friends, nothing in the area. Literally all that I was finding out about my new base was off Google. So I get to the city with nowhere to go, no car, and literally walked, like legit walked up and down streets looking for, like, it's just a hot mess. Didn't find anything. So finally I did the Craigslist route, and I found a room that was relatively close to the airport. She was renting it out for $500 a month, which at the time was basically my entire life savings. So I did that for a month, and I would have to Uber from her house to the airport for my trips, and that was just getting a little bit too much. So my second month I got a crash pad, a real crash pad. So basically what a crash pad is, because a lot of people don't know, that is where pilots, flight attendants, people in the aviation world usually will stay, because we don't really need an apartment, we don't really need a house, one place in a certain city constantly that we have to go back to because we're on the go so much. Essentially, I stay in hotels now more than I stay at my house, and whenever I am off, I like to go home, so I commute back to Louisiana. But I need something for my on-call days, the days where I don't really know where they're sending me, or where I don't know if I'll have a trip or not, so I got a crash pad. So my first one in Minneapolis was about maybe 20 minutes tops from the airport with traffic, and I would have to take the bus from my crash pad, which it stopped off like on the same street as my house, and then I could walk there. It took maybe like 2 minutes. I timed it once, like exactly 120 seconds for me to walk from the bus stop to my house. And then the crash pad that I have now in Atlanta, I get off, I don't want to say like too much about where it is or anything, just for privacy reasons, but I get off at a hotel. I basically take a hotel shuttle to go to my crash pad, and then it's the same way, within walking distance. So it's really easy. I've had really good luck with my crash pads, but I have heard some horror stories. I actually went with one of my classmates to hers, and I was like, if I had to stay here, I wouldn't have made it. So it's a difficult process to find one, because everyone is trying to get one. Everyone wants one that's reliable. Everyone wants one that is nice, that is, especially if you're a girl, you need your own bathroom sometimes, or you want your own room, you don't want to share a room. It's just all these different stipulations, and there's so many different kinds of crash pads. So that's one thing I will quickly mention. A crash pad essentially can be a house, it could be an apartment, it could be a condo, it could be a hotel. There are crash pad versions of hotels. It can be different things. It just depends on the city. Now, I find that it is easier to find a crash pad in smaller bases versus larger ones. So in Atlanta, where I am right now, there are a lot of flight attendants here. A lot more live here, though, than essentially, or commute than need crash pads in this area. So if I was in New York, it would be harder in a big city like that to find a crash pad versus in Georgia, if that makes sense. It's kind of hard to explain it because they're all so different. They're so drastically different. You have crash pads where you can stay there essentially as many times out of the month. If you want to live there, you can. You have crash pads that you can only stay in the crash pad so many times a month, and that's how mine is. And at first I didn't think that this would work for me, but because of the one that I stay at and the girls that I stay with, and we all commute from such different areas, it works out just fine. I'm hardly ever here, and then when I am, I have my own room. I don't have to ever worry about like sharing a room. There's been maybe since I've stayed here actually twice ever have 3 people been in the room at the same time, or been in the house at the same time, and we all had different rooms because of the way ours is set up. Now, people will ask me like, so how much do you pay for your crash pad, or are they all the same? They're all so different, so there's no real one answer that will suit everyone. But essentially, my first crash pad in Mini, I paid $260 a month for rent, which is cheap. I mean, I stayed there as many times as I wanted to, and I stayed there a lot considering because I couldn't go home because commuting was just a nightmare while I was up there. Now, the one that I pay now is $170 a month, but I only am allowed to stay here so many nights out of the month, which that's never a problem because I commute in the night before all my trips, and then I leave out the same day as my trips usually because there's always a red-eye flight that I can catch to go home. So let's see, what else? I don't really know like what all y'all want to know about crash pads. I feel like this is one of those subjects where unless you have a job in the aviation industry, unless you're a flight attendant or a pilot, really, there's no need for you to even really worry about a crash pad. But I know a lot of people do want to know just for preparation if they do get this job, and then they don't really know what to expect. And honestly, it's one of those things where you kind of just have to like learn as you go and figure it out. That's what I had to do, and it did suck sometimes. Like, what they don't tell you about the aviation industry is sometimes it's really not glamorous. Sometimes it really is tough. Walking from the bus stop to my crash pad in the pouring rain, and I forgot my umbrella, and I'm in my uniform with my heavy suitcases, that's not fun. That's not exciting. But that's a sacrifice that I made for the job. So it's just, I don't know. Any questions you all have about crash pads, essentially I will try to answer as much as possible, but just know that there's a lot of specific questions I feel like I'll get, it'll be like, it just depends, and I have only been based in 2 places, so finding a crash pad, Google is probably your best friend. Asking around, asking other flight attendants. Sometimes they'll post flyers and stuff in the lobbies or in the flight attendant lounges or pilot lounges. I found all mine on my own, but essentially a lot of people do have luck asking other people, and sometimes people will set up their own crash pads. Like, I had classmates that all shipped together and not bought a house, but got an apartment, and then they split the rent. And essentially that's always kind of not, I won't say scary or sketchy or anything, but that's just like a gamble that I wasn't willing to take because I know how like sometimes people will back out on their word and that type of thing. So just keep that in mind. Like, if you sign a lease and then all of a sudden 2 people are like, oh, just kidding, we're gonna just commute, we're not gonna stay here that much, and then you're kind of like stuck paying the rent, or signing a loan or signing the lease, or whatever. So just keep all those things in mind. You do have to be really like careful when finding a crash pad. Essentially, that is where you're going to need to come home to. And one thing that I love about my place, I don't ever really want to just like show it in the video, because essentially it's not just mine, it's me and my roommates, and for their privacy reasons and for mine, but it is a house. I absolutely love it. It's set up really cute and it's cozy, and we have couches and chairs and a kitchen, and we all like have our own little areas, and It has a refrigerator, washer, dryer. So these are just things that are really convenient when you are a flight attendant to have, because essentially it is like your home away from home. Now, I just kind of consider this like another version of a hotel for me, because essentially I do commute, so I don't stay here that many days compared to other people. But some people do live in their crash pads, or some people, especially starting off, like when you're first starting in this field, it is nice to just have a place that you can just kind of go to that's yours, where you can put all your stuff and leave it out. But there are crash pads where you can't have anything personal. Like, I have seen pictures of crash pads that were just like, how did you live there? Like, it's just so scary, and I'm so like so picky, and like I just can't like be in a gross bathroom. I just can't. So I'm just kind of heartbroken, you guys. Life has just been so woo woo. I mean, so much better. And you all, seriously, the comments that were on the video where I was crying, I was tearing up all over again because of how sweet everyone was being. Thank you all so much for that. I'm fine now. Like, people are still leaving comments saying, I hope everything is going better. It is. Life is back on track how it's supposed to be. I have a trip today, actually, to Panama, Florida, which is one of my absolute favorite layovers, beach wise, and then Dallas, Texas the next day, so I'll get to see some of my family, so that's always good. But thank you all. Bear with me for the next probably 2-3 weeks with these phone vlogs. I don't hate doing them, but I just hate that the quality is not good and that I can't edit and that I have to really try to think about what I'm saying, because you all know I just will like ramble to infinity and beyond, and then sometimes I'm speaking, I'm like, was that even English? Like, was that even a real word that I just said? What's that? Plus, I don't like not having my intro and outro, but it is what it is. And then this will be like real live, like you know, videos that it's happening that day, I'm uploading it the same day. So for the next 2 weeks, I'm gonna say maybe 3, I hope not, but phone vlogs will be coming. They will be in full effect, so you all please for me for these next few weeks, leave a comment with video suggestions down below. If you want a part 2 of the crash pad, if you want a Q&A, if you want, like, let me know what you want so I can try to figure it out, because the phone vlogs are just like me pulling up the phone and just going for it. So I would appreciate that. Also, Snapchat, Instagram, at the Ashley Banks, Twitter as well. I'll try to link everything in the down bar if I can. I'll probably just have to type it all out because I will be doing all this on my phone. So thank you all so much for watching these videos. I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye! Oh, it feels so weird doing this on my phone.